Good evening, everyone. Welcome inside Veterans Field in Chatham, Massachusetts. I am Zach Sedenic alongside Matt Venezia and Destiny Sanchez, bringing you all the action as the Falmouth Commodores hit the road to take on the Chatham Anglers for the first time this season. And with more on the matchup, we'll send it over to Destiny Sanchez.
Thanks, Zach. This will be the first time both teams will see each other this season, and they're both in similar spots, both at the bottom of their respective division rankings. Both teams with 3 wins and 7 losses. The Anglers and the Commodores are looking to improve in the batter's box. The way to start is just to chip away, focus on pitch selection, and having some of the recent arrivals just adjust to those wooden bats. We're still early in the season with game 13 of 44 about to be underway, and it should be a great interleague matchup, Zach.
Thanks, Destiny. Couple of really talented players on both sides. And you look at some common schools on the Chatham side. I mean, a whole lot of Oklahoma State Cowboys on that side, Matt. But we'll get to those guys in a minute. Let me take you through the lineup for the Falmouth Commodores. Leading things off here in the first is Joe Redfield. He's followed by John Spikerman and Travis Bazan. A lot of speed in that top three. Ross Highfield, Colby Shelton, Gavin Turley, the middle part of the order. Cade Snell making his second straight start at first base. He'll hit 7th. Gavin Keelan back in the lineup at short, hitting 8th. And Nate Humphreys rounds things out in the 9 spot against Gabe Davis, the big 6'9" righty out of Oklahoma State.
Yeah, the Cowboy on the mound, 22 appearances, 1-2 on the year, 7.92 ERA. Made an appearance a few days ago against Catuit for these Chatham A's, and we'll look to get his first start underway here momentarily. And same with Braden Davis for the Doors. Both Davises getting their first starts on the young year. You heard from Destiny, we're still through the youth of this season. And, both these teams obviously understand there's a lot of baseball left to play, but they want to get themselves out of the basement. And one of them will at least make a stride towards that tonight.
We'll have to see which side can fight their way to an advantage here. It was raining all day. We weren't sure there was going to be baseball tonight, but shout out to the grounds crew here in Chatham, giving us a chance to play some baseball, and the sun is shining as it begins its descent over the left field trees. It's a bit of an in-ground type feel to this field at Veterans Field. There's hills all around it, and at the bottom of that valley is the field. 385 to center, 314 to right, 340 to left. The dimensions as we get things going. Gabe Davis, fastball slider ready, and that slider is absolutely electric.
Yeah, I'm watching him right now, checking out the radar gun to see how hard it's coming in with that fastball. And, the righty, he throws hard, no doubt about it. And there's a lot of lefties in this lineup that hopefully, let the pitcher do the work. Get a barrel on the ball, watch it fly here in this sunken diamond as you talk about. And let me just say, Veterans Field, you talk about one of the more historic ballparks for summer baseball nationwide. You got the fans with lawn chairs out in center making some sort of a, what looks to be a batter's eye there, and just a great group gathered here for Saturday Night Baseball. This is what you asked for on Cape Cod, and we've got an opportunity here tonight.
Joe Redfield digs in from the left side. Gabe Davis gets the sign. Long look in. Working from the windup. First pitch is a fastball for a called strike at 94 miles an hour, and we are underway at 7:03 p.m. from Chatham. Latest start time of the season to this point for the Doors. Davis works first base side of the rubber in the windup. Righty with a high leg kick, the 0-1. Fastball misses low up at 95 and evens up the count 1-1.
Yeah, probably one of the more harder throwers the Commodores have gone up against. Gabe definitely brings it. Showing Redfield right now those 2 fastballs.
Field shifted a couple of steps deep with nobody out. 1-1, yellow light swing on the off-speed pitch, and Redfield couldn't hold up. 4 for 12 start to the summer for Joe Redfield. 4.02 the average at Sam Houston State this season. Widens the stance with 2 strikes. Slight bend in the knees from that left-handed batter's box. Swings the bat in circles as he awaits the delivery from Davis. And now time is called. Ready to go. Once again, a 1-2 count. The wind and the pitch. This is outside on the fastball. Evens up the count now 2-2.
Got lucky there. White was attempting a good frame job there. Baseball just fell out of his glove there at 95, and Redfield sees another one here. We've seen a plethora of fastballs aside from that breaking ball earlier in the count. Would think he'd go back to that hot stuff here at least to start out this ball game.
Couple of shakes from Davis. Delivers the break even. Slider low and in. Laid off, and the count now full 3-2. John Spikerman stands on deck. Commodores trying to bounce back from a 12-1 loss in Kitsui yesterday. Redfield working a good at bat to start things. The payoff pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Blows the heater by him. One batter, one strikeout for Gabe Davis.
Well, the scouting report's been right. Heavy fastball, and then he'll work that dangerous slider in on you. We saw it twice in the at-bat, that breaking pitch, but then coming back to it, let me give you my best stuff, and that's what Gabe Davis does right there, and a big cut and miss from Redfield to start off the ballgame.
Longest outing in the career of Gabe Davis is just 3 innings. We'll see how long he goes here tonight, but looking good through one batter. As John Spikerman steps in, switch hitter batting from the left side against the righty Davis. First pitch swinging, skies it foul. Down the left field line, out of play. It's 0-1. Electric speed from Spikerman.
And his wheels will always be fresh, partner. Designated hitter tonight. He'll have a lot of time in the dugout to get himself together for each at-bat.
Miala creeping at third base. Fastball outside. It's 1-1. Miala at Oklahoma State. Very familiar with the Oklahoma Sooner and John Spikerman and his ability to run down the line. Spikerman's had a slower start to the summer, but has shown a lot of flashes of what makes him such an exciting prospect. 1-1, lays off at 95, gets ahead in the count now 2-1.
And he'll work pretty exclusively with those two pitches, Zach, and very rarely will we see, a changeup. And that's because you can, when you throw this hard and then the slider's that much slower, you can work with those two pitches.
2-1, swing and a miss. Elevated heater. Spikerman couldn't catch up to it, and we're even at 2-2. Some blue skies peeking through the clouds here in Chatham. 71 degrees, beautiful night for baseball. Davis into the windup, and the 2-2. Swing and a miss. Took some off it there. Spikerman swings through it. 2 batters, 2 strikeouts.
Yeah, 95 and 83 look very, very different. You just saw, or we did rather, the difference when you go to the hot stuff on the strikeout and then right there he slows you down. He can do them both very, very well. And the Doors are yet to put a ball in play here through 2 out to begin this ball game.
Guy who puts it in play quite a bit. Now digging in, Travis Bazzana. Oregon State Beaver working from that left-handed batter's box. First pitch from Davis is the slider that bends back over the outer part of the plate for a called strike. It's 0-1. Bazzana 0 for 4 in his Commodores debut. Hit a couple of balls hard, though, in the loss to Kitsui. 0-1 goes right back to the slider. It's hit on the ground to second. Backhanded by Maldonado. The throw beats Bazzana down the line. And a 1-2-3. Top of the first worked by Gabe Davis. Braden Davis to the mound for Falmouth on the other side of the break. Trying to match him right here on the Commodores Radio Network. Bottom of the first at Veterans Field. We're scoreless. A 1-2-3 top of the first worked by Gabe Davis. Braden Davis now trying to match him for Falmouth against this lineup for the Anglers. Aiden Miala leads things off, followed by Xavier Casarilla and Carson Benj. Lyle Miller-Green, Chris Maldonado, and Nolan Schubert. The middle part with Hudson White, Sam Antonacci, and Tate Ballestero to round things out for Tom Holliday's squad. Anglers trying to get things going as Braden Davis takes the mound. A couple of different fastballs, a slider, a changeup, and an occasional curveball that he'll mix in as well.
Yeah, it's worked relatively well for him over at Sam Houston State to this point. 4-4, 3.16 ERA through 22 tries. Second on the team in ERA this year with the Bearcats. And to this point, what we've seen from him the other day against YD, 3 innings pitched, gave up 1 hit, 2 walks, struck out 5. What was a really solid effort from Davis in relief. Didn't give up any runs in that effort as well. That was the 4-4 tie. So you'd like to see similar numbers, though. Again, it's different, though, when you're starting a ball game versus coming in relief. I would think you'd like to have the latter be better for you in coming into ball games and coming into situations. Here, it's brand new slate. You're just looking to provide some sort of amount of length. I would think somewhere around 2 to 3 innings is probably what we're going to see from Davis, and we're about to get ready to do it.
Lefty from the wind fires fastball high and outside at 87 to start off this at-bat to Aiden Miala, Oklahoma State Cowboy. Working on a 3 for 20 start to the summer. Shoots a fastball back out of play to even up the count. Good frame, that right-handed batter's box. A couple of righties and a lefty at the top of the order here for Chatham. Davis works quickly. 1-1 is driven high out to center and deep. Going back is Redfield on the track to make the catch for out number 1.
Well, not much real estate left there. Pretty much Joe Redfield going back to the wall. Had the fans out in center field thinking that they could go down and get a souvenir down the hill, but nonetheless, they all look the same on the scorecard there, and that's a good first out picked up here.
It's not that deep out to the deepest part of the park here, only 385. Redfield able to snag that one at the track. The first pitch, Casarilla is a changeup that misses outside. It's 1-0.
Much better start to the summer for Casarella than you would say for Miala. 300 hitter. That's right up there inside the top 5. These Anglers who otherwise are really at the bottom part of the offensive numbers here in the Young Cape League season.
Fastball cut on and missed, evens up the count for Davis. 1-1 goes right back to it. Gets it chopped back to the screen, and it's 1-2. Casarilla digging back in. Started his collegiate career at Wichita State, transferring to Oklahoma State in the fall. Ground ball to short. Keelan, one hop and a fire across in time to get Casarilla.
Really good adjustment there by Gavin Keelan. When you hear that loud crack of the bat and you see it come on a line there, the toughest part is just getting behind the baseball. And then when you do it, because it gets you so quickly, then you can settle yourself down a little bit and make a good throw. And different target over there now. It's not Charlie Condon. We got used to that yesterday. Snell with a good stretch over there, the lefty-lefty, able to make the play and a good start.
Carson Benj goes around on a first pitch breaking ball from Braden Davis, a slider that breaks out. Jeff Merzell went up with the right arm. It's 0-1. Fastball stays up to even up the count. Up at 92 from Davis. That's fast we've seen from him so far. Infield deep across the diamond for the Doors with 2 away. Back to the slider, stays outside. 2-1 count.
Well, partner, just getting accustomed now. Only 3 games on the Cape League season. 8 for 12 is Benj. He has been the best hitter in this lineup so far.
2-1 fastball high and tight. Brushes him back. It's 3-1. First left-handed hitter in the lineup for the A's. Lefty-lefty matchup. Davis having a battle back as the hitters count 3-1. Jammed in to shallow left, a long run, and it's going to drop in front of Turley for a 2-out single.
Yeah, I could hear the crack of the bat. Did not get a lot of that one. That's what happens when you get jammed on. You just shoot it the other way. That's what happened. And a good charge there by Gavin Turley to try to make a play on it, but it's too early in the game to lay out and risk an extra base knock here. You're just trying to help out your arm. And Davis, who, again, is getting comfortable here in his first start on the summer. And you're going to take on another tough bat here in Lyle Miller Green.
Miller Green stepping up out of Austin Peay. 4 schools in 4 years for Miller Green. He's bounced all around. Spent some time at George Mason, Oklahoma State. Fastball gets away from Highfill, allows the runner to move up to second. A man in scoring position with 2 away for Chatham.
Yeah, Lyle's just a real great character. Actually, a good buddy of my high school best friends back in Virginia. Got to talk to him a little bit pregame about the process of bouncing around a ton of different schools. This is 3rd summer here with the A's. Won the home run derby last year. He's a very well-known and liked ball player here on the east side of the Cape.
Righty stands in. Leg kick and a fastball out. It's 2-0 to Miller Green. Runner at second is Bench, 2 away. Braden Davis trying to match Gabe Davis's scoreless top of the first. Lefty working from the stretch. 2-0 fastball. Just misses the zone, and it's 3-0. Aaron Tyson says it's just a little bit high. He's the home plate umpire. Chris Scott down the first base line, and we already mentioned Jeff Merzell down the third base line. The 3-0. Fastball for a called strike on the inner third to keep the at-bat going.
Got to be careful, though, working fastball exclusively to pick up your first strike. This is too good of a hitter to only get away with the heater. We'll see if he can find a secondary picture for a strike on the 3-1.
Goes back to the fastball. It's tipped into the glove. Davis has worked the count full, 3-2. Benj not too big of a lead at second, just a couple of steps, being held on by Bazana. Miller Green with a closed stance, holds the hands tight. The 3-2, fastball hammered out to deep right. Going back to the track and making the play is Humphreys to retire the side. A couple of hard hit balls by Chatham, but no runs come across in the first. We're scoreless. Head to the second on the Commodores Radio Network. Four, five, six for Falmouth in the top of the second. Ross Ifill, Colby Shelton, and Gavin Turley to face Gabe Davis in a scoreless ball game. A couple of hard hit balls from the Anglers in the bottom half of the first. 2 flyouts to the wall, but Falmouth able to bring them both in and keep this game scoreless.
A good bat to lead off here in Ross Highfill. 4th on the team in RBIs, leads the team in home runs. Hasn't had too many chances with ducks in the pond. His 2 home runs were just with runners on base, just one guy. So, you know, in this cleanup role that he has, you really like to see, especially against a weaker offense, try to put some runs on and maybe have Ross swing to bring in a couple.
Gabe Davis back to work, fires a fastball in at Ross Highfill. Had a couple of days off after taking a fastball at 94 off of the shoulder in his last appearance. But now he seems to be good to go. 1-0 swinging, pops it up on the infield. Maldonado calls for it, makes the catch on the infield dirt for out number 1. Gabe Davis looks very much in control through the first part of this order for Chatham on the mound. Now facing Colby Shelton. Outstanding freshman year at Alabama. Headed to Florida for the next season. First pitch swinging, fouls it back to the screen. A fastball at 93, and it's 0-1.
A couple fans in front of us thought they were getting a souvenir, Zach.
Yeah, they're not that accustomed to playing with a net there. And Bat Boy will have to go out and grab that one. Infield deep everywhere, including Miala at third. Not too worried about the bunt from Shelton, who bends his knees into that stance from the left side. Hands held high. Righty Davis in the windup. Fastball sent back. This one over the top of the screen. And now you'll get the race for that souvenir behind us.
Well, it's a cool setup. There's a playground here. Every seat in this house on this Saturday night at Veterans Field is filled. Ton of kids trying to get some souvenirs. Just a good place to play baseball.
The 0-2 to Colby Shelton. Fastball high in sight. It's 1-2. Shelton with a slow start to the summer here for Falmouth, but trying to get himself going and has all of the potential to do so. Davis delivers the 1-2. Breaking ball cut on and missed. Third punch out for Gabe Davis, and 5 up, 5 down for the Chatham righty.
Yeah, he's rolling there. Took something off on that one. After working again with that fastball, trying to pitch him backwards. 0-2, go with the fastball, and Blake Shelton was able to just kind of barely get a piece of it to stay in there, and then you can go back to that slow stuff. And right now, Gabe Davis, aside from the Redfield at bat, has really worked from ahead. He hasn't had to throw a lot of pitches. He's having good success out there.
Here's Gavin Turley. Big swing and a miss on a fastball at 95. It's 0-1. Turley, talented freshman out of Oregon State. Making his second appearance for the Doors out in left field. 0-1. Misses low and evens up the count. Couple of good at-bats worked by Turley yesterday. Didn't get a hit. He was 0 for 2, but was hit by a couple of pitches and found himself on base.
It's true. They barely got him up by the hand area. Didn't look like it hurt him too bad, and then he took one off the jersey.
1-1 popped up. First base side. Ballestero has room, and he'll make the catch in front of the Commodores dugout. Another 1-2-3 inning worked by Davis. On the mound for Chatham, we head to the bottom half, still scoreless from Veterans Field. Bottom of the second inning in Chatham. We're still scoreless between the Commodores and the Anglers. But first, before we get back to the action, a message from Destiny Sanchez.
Thanks, Zach. Cape Cod Healthcare is proud to be the official healthcare sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League. When you need to be seen quickly for minor illness or injury, Cape Cod Healthcare Urgent Care offers a convenient and cost-effective treatment option with 6 locations across Cape Cod from Falmouth to Orleans. Open daily with no appointment needed and staffed by board-certified ER providers. View wait times at capecodhealth.org. Cape Cod Healthcare Urgent Care. Minor emergencies, major attention.
Thank you, Destiny. Chris Maldonado stepping in as 5-6-7 due up to face Braden Davis. The bottom of the second. First pitch is a changeup that misses outside to start off. Chris Maldonado, the Vanderbilt Commodore, taking on the Falmouth Commodores here on the Cape. Fastball outside. It's quickly 2-0 to Maldonado. He had a really good freshman year at Vanderbilt. 310 average. Takes high and outside. Slider that didn't come back enough. It's 3-0. This will be the 22nd pitch already for Braden Davis. The 3-0. Fastball outside. A 4-pitch walk to start the frame. And Chatham, the leadoff man aboard.
Yeah, it certainly didn't look intentional there on that 3-0, but, just putting a runner aboard here. Maldonado can swing it a little bit. And now you go up against Schubert, and, when you load base runners for him, that's not a good sign. This guy absolutely raked this past year, and now he steps in for the A's.
Out of Durant, Michigan, played his high school ball at Orchard Lake St. Mary's. Powerhouse, 3-time All-State, 3-time state champ with the Eagles. Fastball low and outside, it's 1-0. Had a really good season again at Oklahoma State as well. This guy just rakes.
17 bombs, 74 RBIs. Yes, he certainly does. And there are a couple guys in both lineups that know a thing or two about this guy.
Maldonado with a 3-step lead at first. Lefty Davis delivers low and outside, and it's 2-0, 6 straight balls to start this inning from Davis.
Yeah, I mean, you got to be careful with this hitter in particular, but also you look back at the previous at-bat with not a single strike thrown. Not sure that's part of the plan here, and we'll see how much longer. Maybe I think Highfield could go out and have a talk.
Lefty-lefty matchup right now, and Schubert takes fastball in, and it's 3-0 again. Chatham in the white home uniforms with the pinstripes, blue letters across the chest. 3-0 called strike. Red number on the front, blue number on the back for the Anglers. Doors in their road black uniforms with the maroon Falmouth across the chest. Maroon numbers with the white trim. 3-1. In and out of the glove on the foul tip. And it's 3-2.
A good spot there. You got to think just with the struggling of locating that you keep the fastball going. And it's up and away there. That's a tough part of the zone for the lefty to get to. And now you battle back. You're looking to just find something here in play, let your defense get behind it.
Payoff pitch, swing and a miss. Goes to the slider. Schubert went fishing for it, came up empty. From 3-0 to a strikeout for out number 1 for Braden Davis.
Really encouraging stuff there to see Davis battle all the way back. This is a guy who was 5th for Sam Houston State in strikeouts. And shows us why right there. That's his first of the night, expecting several more. Remember, in the YD game, he had 5 in that limited short instance out of the bullpen.
Brings up Hudson White. First pitch swinging. Cuts on that changeup, but comes up empty. It's 0-1. Maldonado still standing at first. White stepping in. Transferring to Arkansas. Was at Texas Tech this year. Has that open stance from the right side. Hands tight to the shoulder. Davis delivers, goes right back to the same pitch. And he's quickly ahead 0-2 after a couple of ugly swings at that changeup.
Yeah, he's gone with some, like you said, changing it up. It's a good sign to see a secondary pitch starting to work. He's been locating the fastball a little bit better here recently.
Davis comes set at the belt, and he'll throw back over to Maldonado at first, who's back in without a tag from Snell. Scoreless here in the bottom of the second from Veterans Field. Doors and Anglers. The 0-2 is outside. Tried to go back to the same pitch. Looked like it slipped a little on him. Highfield does a nice job to come running out of the stance and keep that one in front.
Had a laugh there, too, with Darren Tyson. You could see it from our angle here. Certainly was not the spot. Like you said, it looked like it maybe just slipped out of the hand from Davis. But, hey, now you're back to it and find the put-away pitch.
Davis works third base side from the stretch, the 1-2. Strike 3 called. Freezes White on the off-speed. Back-to-back punch-outs after the leadoff walk, and 2 away, and that runner still standing at first base.
Yeah, a couple pitches on the outer third there into the right-handed batters, just working opposite side of the plate. Couple frees there on that, good pitch there. Drops a breaking ball in there. Was using the fastball pretty heavily early on in this inning. Now he's been using the slow stuff to help him out, and suddenly you're 1 out away.
Sam Antonacci steps in from the left side, squares, pulls back. It's a called strike. Fastball on the outer part of the zone. It's 0-1. Hit .515 at Heartland Community College this season. Transferring to Coastal Carolina for next year. Doesn't matter what level you're at. If you hit .515, that's impressive. Skies one into the gap in right center. Humphreys is over on it. He'll make the catch to retire the side. Braden Davis works around the leadoff walk, retires the next 3 in order. We're scoreless. Headed to the third from Veterans Field. You're listening to Falmouth Commodores Baseball. Top of the third, a pitcher's duel brewing here in Chatham between Gabe Davis and Braden Davis. Which guy's going to outduel the other, we'll have to see. Gabe Davis so far has had the upper hand, 6 up, 6 down to start his outing. Now we'll face Cade Snell, Gavin Keelan, and Nate Humphreys. 3 lefties in a row due up to face the righty. Cade Snell stepping in for his second game as a Commodore. Went 2 for 4 in his debut yesterday at Lowell Park in Cotuit. Snell holds that bat tight to the left shoulder. First pitch. Fastball that stays outside. It's 1-0. Davis holds that glove at the chin, goes into the windup. 1-0, fastball outside. It's quickly 2-0. Snell working ahead in the count, trying to get the Doors their first base runner. The ball game. That was just the second batter so far to not see a first pitch strike from Gabe Davis. 5 of 6 through the first 2 innings. Catches the back corner. And outside fastball for a called strike. It's 2-1.
Yeah, I'm excited to see Snell. We saw him yesterday in his debut. A very quiet 2 for 4 outing. 2 of the 5 hits that the Doors had yesterday in that tough loss.
2-1. High chopper to third. Nice play by Miala. Strong throw. Retires Snell for out number 1.
Yeah, just getting chopped on that one. No solid contact just yet from Falmouth. They're working through, trying to pick up the release point of Gabe Davis right now. He's certainly got it working there, and really one of the first at-bats if Falmouth's been ahead like that 2-0 and looking for a pitch. Snell just didn't get all of it and rolls a ground ball to third, and that's the first out of the third.
Gavin Keelan steps in. Louisville Cardinal batting from the left side. Back in the lineup tonight at shortstop. Takes a fastball for a called strike. Long, lanky righty in Davis. So tough to hit, coming downhill at 6'9" from the right side. High leg kick, the 0-1. Swing and a miss, 0-2. Davis just cruising to this point. Couple of shakes. First base side from the windup. Infield deep across the diamond against Keelan, the 0-2. Fastball outside. Keelan lays off it. At-bat continues. It's 1-2. Keelan crowding the plate in that left-handed batter's box. Bounces the bat off the left shoulder as he awaits the pitch. The 1-2. Little nubber on the infield. Davis will field it himself. Underhand flip gets Keelan by a step for out number 2.
Yeah, just barely got sawed off there a little bit. Put one in play, as you mentioned, a nubber there, and good reactions too by Davis to get off the mound quickly. And I guess he took his time a little bit corralling that baseball. Pitchers sometimes tend to not be able to hit that target when they're the ones fielding the baseball onto first base. But like you said, by a step, a lot of speed out of the box. You got to be careful with these guys at the bottom of the order for Falmouth.
Brings up Nate Humphreys. Dallas Baptist Patriot takes a called strike on a fastball at 95. It's 0-1. Bends the knees, hunched over from that left side. Holds the hands right tight to his left ear. The back of the box takes a called strike, backdoor slider, and it's quickly 0-2.
Yeah, it's a really good pitch there to get ahead. Using the off speed, you can go to any pitch here if you're Gabe Davis.
Has been pinpoint with the accuracy thus far. The 0-2. Swing and a miss. Blows the fastball by him. Another 1-2-3 inning for Gabe Davis, who is cruising through 3. We head to the bottom of the third at Veterans Field, right here on the Commodores Radio Network. Braden Davis back to the mound for the bottom of the third inning. A good one so far at Veterans Field. 9-1-2 coming up for the Anglers. Tate Ballestero, Aiden Miala, and Xavier Casarilla. 3 guys that will hit from the right side against Davis. It's the switch hitter to start it, and Ballestero takes outside. It's 1-0. Ballestero crowding the plate, back of the right-handed batter's box. Davis from the wind, fastball, swing and a miss. Evens things up, 1-1. There was a leadoff walk to start the last inning on 4 pitches. It was actually 7 straight balls issued by Braden Davis. Battle back, strikeout, then another, and a fly out to retire the side. Slider stays high and out. It's 2-1 to Ballestero. No motion in either bullpen, understandably, with how things have gone so far. Fastball tipped into the glove, and it's 2-2.
A lot of waves and misses, and in particular, Braden Davis here recently over this last inning and change.
2-2 high and outside. Runs the count full, 3-2. Both fastballs that have gotten the swings and misses in this at-bat has been that two-seam from Davis. We'll see if he goes back to it here. Payoff, misses low on the four-seam fastball, and a walk once again to lead off the inning for Chatham.
Back-to-back innings with a free pass reaching for the A's, and Davis will go to work out of the stretch. He recovered from it, though, last half inning. The 2 consecutive strikeouts relatively early in the at-bat, and then, obviously that fly ball out to get out of the inning. So this isn't new adversity for Davis.
Miala squares and bunts it off of his leg. Can't get it in play. It's 0-1. Trying to manufacture base runners. Both teams recognize where this game is trending towards with the pitching on the mound to this point. Just trying to get base runners in scoring position and bring somebody across. Couple looks over Ballestero at first. Off speed outside. 1-1 count. And Miala flew out to deep center field in his first at bat. Redfield made the catch on the warning track out in right center. Gives this one a ride to the same spot. Redfield back, this time just in front of the track, will make the catch for out number 1. Good throw. Keeps Ballestero, who was bluffing at first base, on that bag. 1 away.
Just missed that one to the opposite field. Got underneath it. Good news for the Commodores. And now your ground ball from getting back into the dugout. Both pitchers, this Davis more so than the Anglers Davis has relied on that, his defense helping him out, making some plays, but they all look the same on the big board.
Casarilla did have a ground ball in his last at bat. Takes two-seam fastball outside. It's 1-0. Casarilla digging back in. Slightly open stance, back of the right-handed batter's box. Holds those hands high, angled over the right shoulder is the bat, the 1-0. As ball in, bounces off of the pad of Highfill. Ballestero headed around second. He'll stop there. So another one gets the backstop and another runner in scoring position.
Yeah, the previous one was a pass ball. That one's going to be a wild pitch there. Ross was setting up inside. You see catchers in today's game go down to one leg, almost not resting, but more of a relaxed posture to field that breaking ball, and that one just stayed too far inside and down. Skips off the pads and a free 90 feet for the A's.
The 2-0. High and outside. It's quickly 3-0 to Casarilla. That was pitch number 46 for Braden Davis. And he finds himself behind 3-0 with a couple of dangerous hitters in Carson Benj and Lyle Miller Green looming in the order. 3-0, fastball called strike. Previous 3 times he fell behind 3-0. He worked back the first time, got an out, then walked Chris Maldonado, and then worked back to strike out Nolan Schubert. 3-1, big swing and a miss on a back foot slider that clearly would have been ball 4, but Casarilla went fishing for it. And the count now full 3-2.
Yeah, I tried to get something on that one to see if he could bring in that RBI. He drove in 86 runs this year. Was trying to get one right there. Came up empty.
The 3-2. Swing and a miss. Davis once again works from behind in the count 3-0 to punch out a Chatham hitter. That is his 3rd strikeout of the outing, and out number 2 here in the bottom of the 3rd.
Braden Davis very quietly putting himself into the conversation of having a really solid outing here. He's certainly dealt with a little bit more traffic on the base paths than the Doors to this point. 9 up, 9 down for Falmouth. They haven't even had a base runner on. Different story here, though, with the A's, despite only one hit in the game.
Palestero dancing at second. First pitch swinging, and Gavin Keelan snares it at shortstop. A slicing line drive, but Keelan tracks it down for out number 3. Chatham strands a man in scoring position, and we're scoreless through 3. Headed to the 4th at Veterans Field on the Commodores Radio Network. Ready to start the 4th here at Veterans Field. This is the late game on the Cape, a 7 o'clock start. A few games started earlier, and with more on those scores, we'll send it to Destiny Sanchez.
Thanks, Zach. The YD Red Sox lead the Harwich Mariners at the bottom of the 6th, 5-0. The Brewster Whitecaps lead the Bourne Braves 3-1 at the bottom of the 6th. The Cotuit Kettleers and the Wareham Gatemen are tied at 2 at the top of the 6th. And the Hyannis Harborhawks and the Orleans Fibers game is postponed until July 3rd.
Thank you, Destiny. Rain out in Hyannis due to some rough field conditions, but luckily here in Chatham, that's not the case. Gabe Davis out to the mound here for inning number 4. If he records an out here, it'll be his career high. Longest outing, and no reason to take him out at this point. He has cruised just 33 pitches to go through the first time through the order, 9 up, 9 down against the Doors. Now they're getting to see him for the second time. It's Joe Redfield. Doors have not hit a ball out of the infield yet. Couple of pop-outs, couple of ground-outs. Redfield hits one out of the infield, though, to deep right. Going back to the wall and leaping and making the catch is Casarilla to bring one back. Redfield gave it a ride. Casarilla slamming into the wall out in right. So rob Redfield of that home run.
What a grab. Needed every bit of the frame there from Casarella. Wow, what a leaping grab into the fence. You would have thought right there Redfield would have had another long ball, the 5th for Falmouth, potentially. It certainly had the distance. That's a highlight reel play here at Veterans Field.
Gabe Davis surely appreciates it as he goes back to work against John Spikerman and fires a fastball for a called strike. It's 0-1. Redfield was sitting on that first pitch heater, and he got it and gave it a ride, but Casarilla playing his top-notch defense to keep that one in the ballpark. Change up outside. 1-1 count. Fiala playing in on the grass again at third. The 1-1. Chopped foul down the first base line. Davis ahead in the count now, 1-2. We've talked about how good Gabe Davis has been, but we also mentioned that it's his career high in outings right now. And with that being said, there is an arm up and warming in the bullpen for Chatham. 1-2 count awaits John Spikerman. Extends his stance a little wider with 2 strikes. 1-2, skied out into left field, foul territory, long run, and nobody's going to get to it. Spikerman was almost halfway to second base by the time it landed. He's going to have to complete his jog back to home plate to continue this at bat.
That's a designated hitter right there. He's looking for his field action right there. He's been sitting in the dugout while the Doors have been out in the field, helping Braden Davis out a little bit. That one wasn't entirely threatening to be a fair ball, but, you know, when the legs have been sitting on the bench a little bit, just his cardio getting in here for the game.
Another 1-2 awaiting Spikerman. Switch hitter batting from the left side. Doors still looking for their first base runner of the ball game. Davis from the windup, the 1-2. Just misses. Went back door there, but couldn't catch the corner. Evens up the count. It's 2-2. Spikerman angles that bat over the shoulder. Davis holds that glove at the chest, lifts the leg, the 2-2. Send right back to the screen. Spikerman continuing to battle here.
Yeah, nice cut there by John to stay alive. Looked like a fastball up. The gun says 85, though. It may have just been a slight bit of off speed there. The two-seam movement on that pitch. Just staying in there and fighting.
Davis shrugs the shoulders as he rocks himself into the motion. The 2-2. Swing and a miss. Elevated heater at 95, and Spikerman couldn't catch up to it. Fifth punch out for Gabe Davis, and 2 away here in the top of the 4th.
Yeah, goes with the hot stuff there after the two-seam. He went after it. We've seen that before. He's gone to the fastball for the majority of these strikeouts, and a little too hot upstairs. You got to be on it if you're expecting it up there. And like you said, partner, the 5th time the Doors have walked back empty-handed on strikeouts.
Travis Bazzana steps in, first pitch swinging, sends a fastball back out of play. It's 0-1. He hit a ball pretty hard right at the second baseman, Chris Maldonado, in his last at-bat. A lot of pop in that bat, and a lot of speed as well from the left-handed batter's box. The 0-1. Low and outside on the off-speed, evens up the count 1-1. Ross Highfield waiting on deck, hoping he'll get a chance coming to the plate here in the top of the 4th. The 1-1. Elevated fastball. Bazzana couldn't lay off it. Went around, and it's a 1-2 count.
Bazzana getting confirmation there behind the plate that one was in the zone.
Three shakes from Davis before he finds what he wants. Goes into the motion. The 1-2. Breaking ball, skied out to left. Not deep. Long run. The shortstop calling him off to make the play. Antonacci runs it down in left to retire the side. Redfield gave one a ride, but it didn't get out. And the Doors go 1-2-3 again in the 4th. We head to the bottom half at Veterans Field, still scoreless from Chatham. Bottom of the 4th inning, sun starting to set over the trees in left field at Veterans Field. A picturesque scene in Chatham. And a pitcher's duel on the field at Veterans Field. Just one hit between the two sides. Gabe Davis has worked 12 up, 12 down for Chatham. Braden Davis has worked 3 scoreless frames, looking for his 4th year against the heart of the order for the Anglers.
Yeah, Lyle Miller Green will lead it off. Gave one a ride out to right last time to the opposite way.
Some balls have been jumping here Veterans Field, but nothing getting out just yet. Thanks to some nice plays by the outfield. Fastball high and outside. It's 1-0. Braden Davis working some solid numbers despite struggling on the first pitch strikes. Falling behind yet another hitter. 1-0, gets back into it. Changeup over the outside edge for a called strike. Wasn't what Miller Green was looking for, and gets Davis back into the count. 1-1, swing and a miss. Went right back to it. This time put it on the outer edge, and it's 1-2.
Yeah, really nice cut on that one. Just way behind it, though. He wasn't expecting it.
1-2, 3 straight changeups. Gets another swing and a miss. And after not finding the zone on the first pitch, 3 straight strikes and another punch out for Davis.
Yeah, nice job there by Davis to this time retire the leadoff batter. He did that to lead off the ball game against Miala in the first, but then consecutive walks to begin the second and third. Great to just get ahead, get that first out, and not have to work in adversity.
First pitch fastball right by Chris Maldonado. That's the first strike that Maldonado has seen. He was walked on 4 pitches in his first plate appearance back in the second, was stranded on the base paths. The 0-1 from Davis goes right back to the heater and just misses the zone inside. It's 1-1.
That was a good pitch there from Davis. Not sure where it missed, just a little bit low.
1-1, pop foul. Went to that slider, breaking in on the hands of the right-handed hitter. And it's 1-2.
Well, he went with all those changeups to Lyle Miller Green. Let's see what he does here to Maldonado.
Deep breath on the rubber. Lefty deals 1-2. Is the changeup, and it leaks outside. Maldonado able to lay off it and even up the count. It's 2-2. There's a righty warming in the bullpen for Falmouth and Cade Woods. 2-2, swing and a miss. Braden Davis, back-to-back punch-outs. Now he's got 5.
Yeah, it's been the Davis game today. Both Davises have been tremendous, combining for 10 strikeouts, only 1 hit, and 3 total base runners through. Now we're 1 out away left here in this 4th inning. It's been a very, very dominant outing from both guys. And to get his pitch count back under control, Davis is certainly, and that's the Commodores Davis, by the way, has used these strikeouts to get himself back into this count and into his pitch count here through the 4th.
Lefty-lefty matchup with Nolan Schubert, shooting a foul ball down the first base line. It's 0-1.
Now, we mentioned it a second ago. Cade Woods is up and throwing, so we'll see what the decision would be maybe after this, but you certainly can't hate what you've seen from Davis. Looks a lot more settled in. He's found that changeup, good release with that. He's used it as his put-away pitch.
0-1, fastball up and in. Evens up the count 1-1. Sam Houston State Bearcat on the mound, working third base side from the windup. 1-1, popped straight up, back out of play. To the trees and down the hill on the backside of this sunken diamond here at Veterans Field. Hills all around it, and the valley is where you get the ball field. Ground ball, base hit into right field. A slider that's pulled through the hole between first and second, and a 2-out, 2-strike single to keep the inning alive for Chatham.
So that time he goes with his slider for the put-away. It had been the changeup pretty exclusively in the prior strikeouts we've seen to this point for Braden Davis. And when it's coming in on the left-handed bat like that, it's going right into your pull side swing zone. That's what we see there. And on one hop, it's a sharp line drive into right. And if this maybe is it for Braden Davis, that's okay. Just find your comfort zone again and leave the base runner at first and get out of this thing.
Here's Hudson White stepping in for his second AB. One-handed finish as he tips fastball into the glove of Ross Highfield behind the dish. It's 0-1.
And it wasn't one of those one-handed finishes that are pretty. That one was discombobulated there in the box. He was very, very late on that one.
I don't think it was an intentional one-handed finish. By the way, White looked at his hands and his bat after that swing. 0-1, bounces in, off the glove of Highfield, but he keeps it in front. 1-1 count. Schubert over at first base. He's creeping off the bag. Just 1 stolen base this season at Oklahoma State. Off speed low on the changeup. It's a 2-1 count. White, that open stance from the right side, holds the bat straight up and now angles it over the shoulder as Davis comes set. Couple of looks to first, left leg kick, 2-1 fastball, fouled back out of play, even up the count 2-2 with 2 away.
Well, if this is the last inning for Braden Davis, it could come down to one more pitch here to finish what's probably been the best outing by a starter for Falmouth to this point in the year. We've talked about the relief effort from their arms, but the starters have struggled just a bit. Not tonight.
The break even. Bounces in, and it's off of the foot of White in the batter's box, and Schubert with a good read. He'll move up to second base. A full count upcoming, and a runner in scoring position for Chatham.
Well, now you got the runner in scoring position. You'd really like to put a bookmark in this inning here for the A's bats, and it can come down to it right here. Just find that changeup. He's used it occasionally for that strikeout pitch.
Couple looks back to second. The payoff pitch. Swing and a miss. Elevates the heater, and White goes down swinging. Braden Davis is fired up as he heads back to the dugout. 4 scoreless between the Doors and the A's at Veterans Field. You're listening to Falmouth Commodores Baseball. Gabe Davis worked 4 perfect innings for Chatham. Now he gives way to Jack Sokol out of Pittsburgh. And Matt, you've got the rundown on Sokol.
Yeah, was a starter with the Pitt Panthers this year, and in 8 appearances, he started 7 of them. 3-2, 7.01 ERA. This is a debut for this righty for Chatham. 34 innings of experience and used the strikeout relatively well with 33. Good strikeout to walks ratio.
Ross Highfill takes the fastball low to start off the at-bat. It's a 1-0 count. 4 perfect innings with 5 strikeouts for Gabe Davis in his first start of the summer for Chatham. That'll certainly play. Righty Sokol delivers another heater that's tipped into the glove by Highfill. Evens up the count 1-1. Highfill, Shelton, and Turley. 2 righties and a lefty here in this 4-5-6 part of the order for Falmouth. 1-1, chopper foul. Sokol ahead in the count now 1-2.
Saw time at Auburn as well before transferring to Pitt. So this is a guy who's used to some high leverage baseball, good teams out of the SEC and now pitching in the ACC.
Working from the windup, middle of the rubber, the 1-2. Swing and a miss. Good movement on that fastball, and the count now will reset with the new hitter. There's one away.
He's coming up empty on that one. Another swinging strikeout for these Falmouth Commodores. They haven't gone down looking. All of them have been swinging. That's a 6 punch out by the Doors through only 4 1/3.
Braden Davis for the Commodores has struck out 6 in his outing on the mound. First pitch is a backdoor slider for a called strike to Colby Shelton. It's 0-1. Infield deep, not much of a shift on by any of the Anglers against the left-handed hitting Shelton. 0-1, fastball called strike. Sokol way ahead now, 0-2. Not much hard hit contact by either side to this point. It's been a pitcher's duel so far. The 0-2. Swing and a miss. 3 pitches, and Sokol dispatches of Shelton. Enters the game and picking up right where Gabe Davis left off. Back-to-back punch-outs.
Just shows him 3 straight pitches and sends him right back to the dugout quickly. Still waiting for Shelton to break out a little bit. He's going to have to. No more Charlie Condon anymore, and Shelton was tied for that same number of home runs in the SEC for youngsters, and you'd like to see his bat break out a little bit here, but the A's are rolling.
Comes Gavin Turley. Takes a fastball at the knees for a called strike. Talking about youngsters that have a lot of pop, Turley is that.
Yeah, led the Beavers in home runs this year at 14.
The 0-1. Called strike, going right back to it. Has some sink, some arm side run on that pitch from Sokol. And an 0-2 count to Gavin Turley. Open stance from the right side. Rest that bat on the right shoulder as Sokol now goes into the motion. The 0-2. Slider sent back to the screen. Big swing from Turley, but he keeps himself alive.
Yeah, has to adjust his helmet a little bit. Nearly came flying off after that cut. Was barely able to stay with it, but I mean, this is what you expect. Good stuff. Good 3 to 4 pitches for Sokol. Keeps hitters off balance.
Swing and a miss. Fastball by him. And Sokol with a dominant 5th inning on the mound for Chatham. We're halfway through this ball game. Still no score on that board out in left. Heading to the bottom of the 5th on the Commodores Radio Network. Sam Antonacci leading things off, 8-9-1 for Chatham to face Braden Davis, who remains in the ball game. Fires first pitch off speed inside. It's 1-0. Lefty working from the windup, fastball low and in, and falls behind 2-0 to Antonacci.
Yeah, a lot of emotion from Davis after that big strikeout in the previous inning.
Ground ball to second. Bazana on the candy hop. Quick sidearm flip to retire Antonacci for out number 1.
What I was getting ready to say is with all that emotion, you fall behind in the count, right? So just like that, that's what you do. You got to get back to what was working in that inning. He goes with the fastball here. Again, it's a hard ground ball. The Anglers, when they've been put in play, have been hit relatively hard, but just right at, in that case, second baseman. You make a good play, and now Landry will come out. It appears they just wanted the matchup there, and this should be the day.
Sign of the bullpen is made, and Ballestero will greet the new arm coming out of the bullpen for Falmouth. We'll give you all the details on Cade Woods as he comes on in to make his Commodores debut on the other side of the break, right here on the Commodores Radio Network. Cade Woods makes his Falmouth debut out of the bullpen, replacing Braden Davis, who went 4 1/3, giving up just 2 hits, 2 walks, 6 strikeouts. Nothing else against his line. We're still in a scoreless ball game, Matt, as Woods takes over.
Yeah, Cade Woods will step in. One of the very best relievers out of Alabama, striking out 38 against 15 walks, saw action in 29 1/3 innings pitched with a 5.52 ERA. That'll certainly work in the middle of when he comes in, in mid-relief areas. Only 1 save, so wasn't used particularly late in ball games. But again, that 38 to 15 strikeout to walk ratio certainly works in this point of the ball game. And again, the Doors have only given up a total of 4 base runners today. The pitching has been keeping them in this ball game as it's been 15 up, 15 down for the Doors, and no different now. The assignment is as shown. Just try to keep this game right where it is for your bats in the 6th inning.
And going to face 9-1 in the order that are due up. And that means the switch hitter, Tate Ballestero, will step in from the left side for the first time, takes the fastball at 95, high and outside, start off the AB.
And Ballestero had that leadoff walk back in the 3rd, one of those 4 runners that have been given up.
Swing and a miss to even up the count. 1-1 count to Ballestero, 3 for 17 start to the summer for the Anglers out of St. John's. Righty Woods from the windup delivers. Fastball cut on and missed, and it's 1-2.
That's hot right now. 94 out of the bullpen, keeping the heat. Obviously, Davis only that low 90s fastball. Different look here with the heater from the right arm slot.
The 1-2. Fastball high and outside. 4 pitches, 4 fastballs from Cade Woods, and the count even 2-2.
Had plenty of time to get warm in the bullpen area to see what those secondary and third pitches look like. This is probably a spot for one.
2-2, wave and a miss. An ugly swing on that one. Went to the off speed. Got him swinging. His first out is a strikeout.
Well, there it is. Show him a different look. Goes to that secondary pitch. Looked to be a slider into the left-handed bat. That's a great way to start your first batter on the season for the Doors this summer. The first batter of the outing. And now right back to the top of the order.
Hayden Mialo takes a called strike. That one in on the inner third. It's an 0-1 count. Mialo, a couple of fly balls to deep right center. But nothing to show for it to this point. 0-1. It's that heavy heater. It's fouled back to the screen. It's 0-2.
Now the Doors are given the same look that they faced earlier in this ballgame from starter Gabe Davis of Chatham. That mid fastball in the 90s, just going right to it consistently. And ahead again quickly, 0-2.
The pitch from Woods. Misses high on the off speed. It's 1-2.
Looked like he maybe just didn't get whatever that slider breaking stuff was. Kind of just floated at the top of the zone. Good thing that was up, though. Otherwise, that could be right in the sweet spot of Miala.
The wind and the 1-2. Sent back out of play towards the parking lot here at Veterans Field.
Where'd you park today, Zach? Is your car in range?
My car is probably out of range. I am in that parking lot, but a ways back. Woods delivers the 1-2. Flips one into left center. Going to be a long run, and Redfield will watch it drop in front of him for a base hit. The second inning with a 2-out, 2-strike single in a row for Chatham.
That one a different look, though. It was barreled up in the previous inning that we saw that 2-out base hit done by Schubert. This time, though, it looked like maybe just off the end of the bat. A nice spot there in the middle of left center field. Redfield, a lot of speed. You kind of would have liked to see him get there. He let it play on a hop, and a rather conservative approach. Understandable, though, with 2 outs. You don't want to get that ball by you, and trust your pitcher here to get this out.
Casarilla fouls back a first pitch fastball from Woods, continuing to pound that heater, Matt.
Well, I was going to say, the scouting report from what the guys have seen in the dugout of Chatham is he throws the fastball, he throws it often, he'll throw it early in the count. Obviously, late on that one was Casarilla, but make mental note of that if you're on the mound.
Pickoff move to first, not in time. May have caught Miala leaning just a bit, but he's back in standing up the outer part of the bag. Casarilla stepping back in. He's 0 for 2, a ground out and a strikeout against Davis. Now getting his first look at the righty Woods, and he slices one out to deep right. Going back is Humphreys looking up, and it's gone! Back-to-back 2-out hits, including the home run, and it's 2-0 Chatham.
Well, there it is, partner. We talk about the fastball. We talk about using it often, and it works if you're in the mid-90s. You got to be careful if you keep hammering it in there, and some two-out magic worked here in the bottom of the fifth. It looked like we were going to be scoreless going into the sixth. And just taking one the other way, again, late on it because of how hard it's coming in. But, hey, it only plays 314 out there and right. Easy for the pull hitters and the left-handed bats, but if you get on it late as a righty, you can take it to the short porch out and right.
First pitch fastball misses high and outside to Carson Benj. He's got a single and a line out in his two ABs. Both of them have gone the other way towards left center. Takes a called strike. Evens up the count. 1-1 goes straight to the backstop. Did not get a good grip on that off-speed pitch, and it sailed straight back. 2-1 count to Carson Benj. Open stance from the left side. Angles that bat over the left shoulder, hands tight to it. Fastball high and outside. Cade Woods now falling behind, 3-1. No movement in either bullpen. 2-0 Chatham on the two-run blast from Xavier Casarilla. The 3-1. Popped up, foul out of play. The count runs full, 3-2.
Nice battle back there on the hot stuff. That was at 92. And you're one strike away. Just limit that damage to what it was. You'd hate to let another base runner get aboard here and extend the inning to Lyle Miller Green.
Deep breath on the rubber. Woods gets the sign, goes into the motion. The payoff pitch. Runs inside for ball 4. Three straight two-out base runners against Cade Woods.
Yeah, just like that. You extend the inning, you get another base runner on, and got to watch that pitch count a little bit. I mean, Woods came in with one out already retired here in the fifth. Got the second one rather convincingly with that strikeout on a 2-2 count. Different story, though, since.
Fastball for a called strike on the first pitch to Lyle Miller Green. 0 for 2 on the ball game. A fly out to deep right and then a strikeout. Big lead over at first for Benj. Throw back not in time as he dives back in ahead of the throw. An 0-1 count to the center fielder out of Austin Peay. That closed stance from the right side. Right leg kick from Woods. Fastball blown by him, and it's 0-2.
Good two pitches here to get ahead quickly. I haven't seen a whole lot of that, the secondary and third pitches that Woods throws. We'll see if he works backwards here and maybe keeps it all hot.
The 0-2. Slicing foul down the right field line. Had plenty of distance, but won't stay fair. Another 0-2 upcoming.
And that was the call. It was for another fastball trying to jam Miller Green, but he's got quick hands there, able to fight off for another pitch, and may have earned himself maybe a different kind of pitch here, and we'll see what he goes with.
Another check over to first base. Benj back in standing. Wood staggers the feet as he comes set. Now time is called at the plate. Deep breath on the rubber. Righty delivers. Fouled back out of play. And another 0-2.
Slowed him down just a little bit there. And we'll see what Woods goes to here. I mean, he's used to facing tough hitters with putaways. That's why we've talked about him with those strikeout numbers at Alabama. He's used to spots like this where he's got to get out of jams and help out other pitchers when coming in relief. Now he's the guy trying to escape his own jam. Plenty of experience of it. But you definitely don't want to make this 4 consecutive with 2 out to reach. Otherwise, we could maybe see a conversation from Mike Landry.
Benj increasing his lead over at first. Another 0-2 and another foul ball. Continuing to pepper that parking lot with baseballs.
Well, this is a guy who's been in Chatham now 3 summers, Lyle Miller Green. He's probably has a record of several dented cars and all that in this parking lot.
Yet another 0-2, and yet another foul ball.
Just pounding the fastball. I mean, you're making him get on it, and in the box, you've seen it a couple times now, but it's so difficult to just stay remotely on that for the event that they do give you, the changeup or the breaking ball, whatever it may be. Heavy dose of the heater.
Woods delivers. Swing and a miss. Goes to the off speed, gets him fishing. But Chatham gets a pair in the bottom of the fifth on the 2-run homer from Casarilla. We head to the sixth. Matt Venezia will have the call on the other side of the break right here on the Commodores Radio Network.
Ready to go here for the top of the sixth inning. Matt Venezia, Zach Sardenik, Destiny Sanchez will have it for you. 7-8-9 due up for Falmouth. Still looking for its first base runner of this ball game as we now approach the sixth inning. First pitch in there to Cade Snell at the top of the zone for a strike. 15 up, 15 down for Falmouth to begin here. A lot of zeros on the board for the Doors. Out of the full line, Sokol, the pitch. This one is line foul, slicing over the dugout of Chatham. Trying to get something going after that 2-out, 2-run home run by Chatham here in what was a pitcher's duel. Pitch on the way, cut on and missed. Another strikeout. And if you go back to the last inning, 4 consecutive swings and misses for strike threes for the Falmouth Bats, 1 away.
Yeah, you can't ask for a better debut from Sokol than what he's had to this point. 4 batters, 4 punch-outs.
Yeah, partner, you and I didn't have him on our pregame stats package together because he was a late add to their roster. And my goodness, at a pit, he's certainly making his presence known with 4 up, 4 down on Ks. Out of the full line, gave Keelan the breaking ball. This one stays on the infield. Calling forward to third baseman Miala, and he'll make the play. 2 gone on 4 pitches.
This is just pure dominance from Chatham's arms today.
And the Anglers, to their credit, with the offense being down near the bottom of the basement here in the Cape League, they're pitching different conversation, though. We're seeing it right here, Zach.
Yeah, they've been outstanding.
So now the caboose of the order, Nate Humphreys. Fastball in there at 90 for a strike. And again, the calls behind the plate continue to be strikes from Darren Tyson. There's been a lot of strikes in this game from the arms of the white jerseys and the pinstripes. Full wind again. This one's fouled back right over our head. And again, 0-2. There has not been a single ball in this inning.
There hasn't, and there's only been 1 ball so far overall by Sokol. He's thrown 17 pitches, 16 of them for strikes.
Very dominant. The 0-2. Left there, strike 3. It's a backwards K. The Commodores 18 up and 18 down. Not the right side of that category that you want to be on, because right now the Anglers are perfect through 6. We take a quick break and bring you back on the other side with Chatham Bats coming up here on the Commodores Radio Network. Bottom of the 6th with the A's looking for more insurance after the 2-run shot there by Casarella in the 5th. He was a guy we were talking about earlier, drove in 86 runs this year. Adds 2 more to that total right there. A lot of power from Casarella in the right-handed box. Sliced one the other way. And cleared that 314 with ease.
And without this game's going, I mean, the 2 runs may be enough.
So out of the full wind, back out there is Cade Woods. Gets a strike in here to Maldonado. Reached with a walk back in the 2nd. Struck out swinging last time. And what's been a pitcher's duel here at Veterans Field. The pitch here may have gotten a piece of Maldonado. It did, but off the barrel on the inside of his hands, and that's going to be a strike on the foul ball, 0-2.
And you'll take that. If your Woods on the mound, it had to go right back to the mound after that quick top half of this 6th inning.
Cade Woods, a 0-2 out of the wind. Fastball way upstairs at 94. Highfill and the Crouch had to leap to grab that one.
Yeah, the reaction time there and the quick movement from Ross Highfill.
Maybe saved Darren Tyson from a headache.
Yeah, that's not a pitch you want to take if you're behind home plate.
A ball and 2 strikes, still well ahead of the count. The full wind and the pitch. Breaking ball, swing and a miss. If nothing else, the Falmouth defense and the staff for the pitchers doing its part. Cade Woods, since coming in, his 3rd strikeout now.
Yeah, and the home run that he gave up was after a weak single with 2 strikes and 2 outs earlier in the inning, and it just kind of feels like an unlucky bounce there after that single, and then the ball that was hit pretty hard to that short porch out in right field.
Now the big bat out of Oklahoma State. Nolan Schubert now in there in the left-handed batter's box. First pitch swinging, comes up empty on what looked to be a changeup from Woods. 0-1. Woods doing his part now after the home run to keep his bats in the game. On the outer half, low and away to the lefty, and it's called for a strike as well. So good response here after that 2-run shot. Only a handful of pitches thrown, only 1 ball, a lot of strikes. The pitch swing and a miss, goes up the ladder on that one at 92, worked him backwards. And Cade Woods does his impression of the strikeouts there, and he's got 2 in a row.
And that's what you love to see. I mean, you just bounce back because at this point you can't change anything on the other side. So you just try and limit the damage to 2 and see if your offense can get going.
We told you about Cade Woods' numbers out of Alabama, mimicking them here in his first outing with Falmouth here this summer. But he greets Hudson White with a fastball up and away for a ball. It's only the 2nd ball he's thrown this entire inning through now the 2 outs that we've seen. White in the right-handed box, flickering his bat back and forth. The pitch fouled back towards the parking lot. 1-1.
You know, that one's coming for your car, Matt. All the way to, is it in Florida?
No, it's in Arizona currently. Would need a lot on that one. You'd probably have to face the opposite way in the box to swing at it this way. 1-1. Slow hook at 75. Fouled right back towards the cars parked here at Veterans Field.
Yeah, you might have to hit it a couple thousand miles, too. Over some mountains, maybe?
Even Barry Bonds would need some help to get that ball to Tempe, Arizona right about now. 1-2. Woods trying to go 1-2-3. The pitch. Fastball got it to be popped up just out of the infield. Bazana giving chase. Now moves to his left. Camps under to makes the play. A 1-2-3 work by the Doors defensively. And through 6 innings, it's still 2-0 Chatham, with Falmouth still looking for some base runners here at Veterans Field on the Commodores Radio Network. 1, 2, 3, due up for the Falmouth Commodores, trailing 2-0. If you're just tuning in as we begin the 7th inning, the Falmouth Commodores have not had a single base runner in this ball game. They are currently having the thing done to them that you're not supposed to say as we begin the 7th.
Yeah, I mean, it's just been dominance on the mound from Chatham. They are cruising to this point.
18 up, 18 down in order for the guys in the black jerseys using the first base dugout here at Veterans Field. The first of 2 trips here to Chatham for the Doors. And now leading it off here to the 7th, Joe Redfield trying to turn the tide here as we begin the last third of this ball game. With Jack Sokol still out there. Fastball upstairs, top of the zone, left up there by Redfield. To this point in this ball game, Redfield, a strikeout back in the first, and then he was robbed of a home run in right. A tremendous play made there by Casarella. Fastball here, outer part, called strike to even the count.
And if Chatham's able to finish this over the next 3 innings, that play is the one you're going to think about.
It would have only been a solo shot, so you still would have needed more, but it certainly could have cleared the wall. The 1-2, check that, excuse me, the 1-1. That's a changeup low. 2-1 now, hitter's count here. Partner, we were talking off the air, Sokol being a starter with the Panthers. Could see him throughout the rest of this ball game should this thing keep going. Pitch here, sliced foul towards the fans gathered along the left field foul line and near the big turtle batting cage that the A's use during batting practice. That's a second strike of the at-bat to make it 2-2.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about the rain earlier. Neither of these teams got on-field BP today. And neither team's getting much of it right now with how these pitchers are going.
The 2-2 sent right back to us off the press box of our friends of the Chatham broadcasters right above us. Andrew and Joe maybe could have reached their hand out the window to grab that one.
Yeah, it might take some quick reaction time there, but you never know.
2-2. Fastball outer half. And the count is now full. There have been a handful of full counts in this ball game. Check that, actually, there's literally only been one, and it was to lead off the ball game with Redfield, so a very different spot here. This fastball sliced foul again.
This is where the pressure starts to get to you on the mound. Late in a game like this, you've gone 18 up, 18 down, and every pitch matters, especially in a 3-ball count.
Well, as pretty as it is, both these teams in the basement just want to win any way they can get them. The pitch, fastball up and away, swing and a miss. Redfield down swinging for the second time tonight. And the first out of the 7th picked up by the A's defensively.
Both teams are starting to press in situations like these. You need, as a hitter, to not change your mindset because of where you're at. Don't go up there and I want to break this up. Just go up, try to hit the ball hard. And if you hit the ball hard, there's nothing more you can ask for.
The center fielder now DHing tonight, John Spikerman in the box. Only 3 hits through 19 tries entering this one here in Falmouth, just getting adjusted to the Cape League. He was one of the many late adds to the roster at this point in the year now. If you look at the lineup right now, Falmouth currently has 2 players on this team's 1 through 9 that were on the opening day roster. That's Ross Highfill and Gavin Keelan. So a lot of different players joining the Cape League as it's expected, with the NCAA field being narrowed all the way to Florida and LSU, which game 1 of that final is going on as we speak out there in Omaha. Fastball here, left upstairs, 3-0.
And the thing about a game like this is, with all the dominance and everything, if Falmouth gets a base runner on, the tying run's at the plate.
As funny as that is in terms of the Doors being shelled, the pitch here, fastball, outer half, called strike. Just not really getting any offense as we talked about. You're right. If they do manage a base runner, the very next guy waiting in the on-deck circle suddenly becomes very, very important. Looking for the sign is Sokol. Out of the full wind. Delivers the pitch. And it's left upstairs, and that's a walk. The first base runner of the day on the 20th batter for Falmouth is via the free pass. So now that thing is over, but another really important thing is still intact.
Well, and the tying run up to the plate, and this is the part of the order you want the tying run up with. You've got Bazana, Highfill, Shelton, Turley. The next 4 guys, all of these guys can very realistically leave the yard at any point.
Bazana led off yesterday for the Doors in the loss on the road to Katuitt. He's now in the 3-hole here for Falmouth.
These also, the combo of Spikerman and Bazana is going to be the toughest in the league, in my opinion, to double up. Spikerman might be the fastest guy out here. Bazana stole 36 bags with Oregon State.
He's right behind him in the 40-yard dash, partner. The pitch on the way, fastball outer half, coming in just under 90 at 89, getting the outer half, 1-1.
So where do you fit in on that 40-yard dash, Matt? Are you just ahead of both of them?
I forgot my number that they tracked of me at Fenway Day, but it was at least marked somewhere.
4-1? 4-1-4 maybe?
I think you got to double that 4, make it an 8. Kidding. A long look for the sign, now coming set out of the stretch from Sokol. Watching the runner on base, Spikerman, who gets back, dives back there in safely.
And I think Spike was going there. He was leaning and he was creeping off the bag. He's already swiped a few bags this season.
The pitch from Sokol, 89 outer half, called strike, 2-2. And honestly, as a designated hitter and going 20 up, or 19 up, 19 down rather, Spikerman being the DH, he's excited to get out there. You could tell he wants to put the game in motion here of all guys in the lineup because he hasn't been out there defensively. Extends his primary lead, stays put. Pitch here, taken, looked like a changeup down low, and the count is full.
Another big spot.
So suddenly Falmouth entering this inning, 18 up, 18 down. Now all of a sudden, could get 2 on with 1 away without even putting the ball in play. Sokol comes set from the stretch, checks back on Spikerman. A late tag from Ballestero. John's back in there sliding. Waiting on deck, Ross Highfill. Now with Charlie Condon now not here anymore. Certainly one of the better slugging bats in this Falmouth lineup. Another check over to Spikerman. Ross, a .521 slugger at Mississippi State during his rookie year. You'd like that number to be in the box with a couple runners on. The 3-2 pitch, Spikerman's going. It's a slider sent back up in the field. Spikerman doesn't see it. He's going to get doubled off as this one hangs in right. It's a double play. Rule that a 9-3. And just like that, the only base runner the Doors have gotten is erased. Another 0 for Falmouth, but they do work their first base runner of the game and can't bring him in. We go to the bottom of the 7th, stretch time. It's still 2-0 Chatham here on the Commodores Radio Network. Cade Wood's day is over. We'll tell you his numbers in just a second, but Paul Bunzani, one of the more reliable bullpen arms for the Commodores, will take the hill here to begin the bottom of the 7th.
Yeah, Paul's been outstanding, a really high Ks per 9. In his first 2 outings, he had 8 strikeouts out of 10 outs recorded, and then came in and didn't get as many strikeouts, just the 1 in his last appearance against YD, gave up the unearned run in the tie. He pitched the 10th, but it's been good overall. 4 1/3 innings pitched, 2 hits, 1 unearned run, 9 strikeouts. For him, 8-4 record at Southern Illinois this season, and 3 saves to go along with it. 50 punch outs for the Salukis, and continuing that success here to Falmouth. He's got a fastball that can get up to 97, 98 on the gun. We'll see if he can continue to light it up here.
Good numbers, as you mentioned, at Southern Illinois. 50-28 on that strikeouts to walk ratio. Very doable, and has been very solid, as you mentioned. Had an immaculate inning on opening night.
That was one of the more impressive pitching feats I've seen in a while, and especially this season. But Chatham on the brink of one that might be a little bit more impressive here tonight.
That's right. Only 2 more sets of at-bats for the Commodores, who are still in search of their first hit today. They were 18 up, 18 down. The first out of the inning was picked up in the 7th, and then John Spikerman worked a walk that gave the Doors their first base runner 20 at-bats into the ball game. So to lead off against Paul Bunzani, to lefty Sam Antonacci. The shortstop tonight for Chatham. First pitch swinging, chops one to Snell. Takes it on a couple of hots, some Bunzani, and it looked a little unconventional over there, a little confusion, but nonetheless, the putout is recorded. Rule it a 3-1, and that's the first out of the 7th.
Good job to jam first hitter you faced and come in 1 pitch, 1 out. Can't do much better.
Takes communication there to be able to execute that the way the Doors did.
And that's not easy, especially when you're in a spot where Snell got here 3 days ago.
Right. Taken over at first base so far in every game since Charlie Condon and a few other Commodores left for Team USA tryouts that have, workouts and such have already begun. They got there right away in the morning and had practice later that evening. A line drive here right at the second baseman, Bunzana. And just like that, a sharp line drive is the second out of the inning.
The third baseman from Oklahoma State, number 17, Aiden Miola.
Just continuing to do what Bunzani does. Find his way through tough parts of the order and have success.
You'll take that, certainly. Trying to work quickly here is Bunzani. Offers a breaking ball here to Miala, taken for a strike. Miala 1 for 3 today, a couple of fly balls to Redfield and straightaway center. Then had a base hit last time and scored on it. That was part of the 2-out magic we saw that eventually the guy in the on-deck circle hit a 2-run shot.
I like starting Miala here with a couple of sliders.
The 0-2. Give him another one there. It ran away on the fastball actually at 95, according to the scoreboard here. It was just making Highfill slide to his right to retrieve it. It's 1-2 from Paul. Accepting the sign out of the full wind. The 1-2 pitch. Slows it down and left him buckled. It's a strikeout for Paul Bunzani, his first of the ball game since coming in that inning, and he works a 1-2-3. Falmouth has some work to do, not only in coming back into this ball game, but trying to get its first hit of the game. We'll see if it happens in the 8th. It's still 2-0 Chatham here on the Commodores Radio Network. Ready to go here in the top of the 8th. Commodore bats coming up, but before that, we know what's going on here and what else could happen the rest of the night here in Chatham, but around the league, Destiny Sanchez updates us.
Thanks, Matt. The Whitey Red Sox defeated the Harwich Mariners 5-2. The Brewster Whitecaps lead the Bourne Braves 9-4 in the top of the 9th. The Wareham Gatemen lead the Cotuit Kettleers 7-2 in the bottom of the 8th. And the Hyannis Harborhawks and the Orleans Firebirds is postponed.
Thank you, thank you. That game will be made up on July 3rd. Just again, it's been some rain here in this month of June on the Cape, including today. When I woke up this morning in Falmouth, was wondering to see if tonight's game was even going to happen, and the sun came out relatively early in the afternoon, a lot earlier than we were expecting, Zach.
Yeah, and good job by the grounds crew, and we're out here for some baseball. It's been a good game.
Yes, it has. Ross Highfill will lead off now against Sokol, who's still in there. Ross checking his swing on the breaking ball. A look down to first, and he did go, according to Chris Scott, 0-1.
And some heated words from Ross Heifel after that one. He did not think he went at all.
From our vantage point, I really didn't think he did either, but that's not up to us to decide. The 0-1. Fastball inside. Heifel having to move out of the way of that one. 1-1. As we enter the top of the 8th inning here, a 2-0 lead for Chatham. Check swing. Did Heifel go? A look down. Yes, he did. That's 2 check swings called for strikes down there at first.
I think he went on that one. The first one, I'm not sure, but that one I think he went.
I think Ross knew it too. Didn't say anything that time on the check swing. Sokol out of the line, the 1-2. Slows it down, swing and a miss. Falmouth heads back to the dugout there. And Chatham right now is continuing to roll 5 outs away from a no-hitter here at Veterans Field.
And we thought that Gabe Davis was good, and he was. He was perfect through 4 innings. The 1 walk from Sokol, but he's been outstanding too. 7 punch-outs.
First pitch swinging off the end of the bat from Shelton over our heads, foul. Behind 0-1. Yes, Sokol has just been dominant since coming in. As you mentioned, I mean, he started the 5th inning with 3 straight strikeouts. Threw 1 ball in that inning, and his first, what, Zach, you said 17 pitches, 1 ball.
Yeah, first 2 innings, throwing 1 ball. It's nuts.
The 0-1 is a fastball up and in, called for strike 2. And Sokol just gets right back up there. Doesn't step off the mound at all. He's ready to go out of the full wind. The 0-2. Fastball off the plate. Check that. Looks like they slowed it down actually at 82 on the gun. 1-2 with 1 away. Only 1 base runner, and it came in the previous inning for Falmouth. A walk by John Spikerman. The pitch. This one's chopped on the ground. This is a tough play. It's going to take a big throw. Airmailed. It would have been a base hit anyways. Shelton's going to go to second as this ball goes over the head of the first baseman Ballestero. And more important to Falmouth, now you got the tying run up with a runner in scoring position. But the bigger elephant in the room, the first hit of the game for the Commodores, comes with 5 outs left in the no-hit bid.
And that is tough.
It was an infield hit from Shelton. And wow. So a tough bid there for Chatham. It is a throwing error. Ruled on the pitcher Sokol there, and now suddenly he's got to work out of the stretch. A look back to see Shelton on second. A check of the swing up high, but behind the plate, Darren Tyson says he did go, did Turley, and that's the first strike of the at-bat.
Turley's a big power bat. He's the tying run.
Tying run, you're right. 14 home runs this year up in Corvallis with Oregon State. Couple looks by Sokol to second. Now he goes. Fastball low and away, called strike. It's 0-2. So now that that thing was addressed with the first hit of the ball game for Falmouth, now you got to try and find this equalizer here. The tying run in the box here against a Chatham staff that has just been rolling to this point. 12 strikeouts already for the A's against the doors in the box. That pitch in the dirt taken, looked like a changeup down there, 1-2.
Sokol's got a lot of options here. He can try and throw another off-speed pitch, or he can go upstairs with that fastball. That's what he did last time to Turley.
Gets a sign from White, a look back to second, and now he lifts the leg and goes. Turley staying alive, sends it straight back to the screen, 1-2.
He's a guy that did strike out a decent amount this season at Oregon State, but we mentioned his numbers on the long ball, but also hit over 300, had a slower start, and got red hot towards the end of the season.
60 strikeouts for Turley. As you mentioned, there are a lot of them. Not one here yet on this pitch, though. 76 sent straight back into the netting. And making Sokol work him here. And if we look out to the bullpen, there is some light stretching and tossing going on there down there with Chatham. But Sokol, despite the hit on the infield, has looked very, very good, but a big spot here in this ball game. The lift of the leg, the 1-2. Swing and a miss. 78 in the dirt. Slowed it down on him. That's the 8th strikeout of the game for Jack Sokol in relief of Gabe Davis. 2 away.
Just stifling on the mound. Chatham in complete control from the first pitch all the way through this point.
Right now, there's only 2 bats in the Falmouth lineup that have not struck out tonight. One of them is in the on-deck circle in Gavin Keelan, so you'd like to see if the inning could extend to him. But Cade Snell is the man who greets Sokol here. First pitch swinging, sliced foul into the netting just in front of the dugout of Chatham.
And bringing Keelan up would also mean that you, at the very least, put the tying run on base, and you're in a spot where you can try and even up the score here in the 8th.
Sokol lifts a leg and goes. 89 off the plate away to the left-handed bat of Cade Snell. We talked about him earlier, transferring to Alabama this upcoming year. Had some good numbers at Wallace Community College. Drove in 44, 5 long balls. Big bender here. Stayed up high too much, though, and inside on the finish. It's a hitter's count, 2-1 here.
You would think that this is a spot where big left-handed bat could try and go deep, but Snell likes to go the other way with the ball, so not really going to take advantage of that short porch.
The pitch gave him the hook, swing and a miss. A throw back to second. It goes in the outfield, though. Able to take off is Shelton. He's going to be held up at third. They tried to backpick Colby Shelton. And with his speed, a base hit would have done it, you would think. But now for sure, the Doors got to find a way to get this one through to cut the lead in half. Sokol walking around the mound, adjusting the baseball now.
He now has to be careful with that breaking ball because if he throws it down in the dirt and it happens to get away from White, not only is the inning still alive, a run could score.
Fastball off the plate left there. It's a full count offering. So after that infield hit, 2 errors defensively have moved Colby Shelton all the way to third. There's a throwing error from the pitcher Sokol, and then right there, an error from the backstop throwing it down. The pitch, breaking ball up in the zone. It's left up there. And that tying run is aboard for Gavin Keelan.
Really good AB there from Cade Snell. Continuing to battle. That's what the Doors are doing here. They're hanging around. Don't count this team out yet.
Falmouth entered the 7th with no base runners in the ball game since, through a little over, now I guess an inning, 3 base runners. They're on the corners with the go-ahead run in the box and Gavin Keelan. First pitch, fastball low and away. And now we're seeing something new from Sokol. He's been behind in these counts in this 8th inning in particular. Hadn't seen that from the 5th, 6th, or really even the 7th. As he comes set on the mound now out of the stretch. Big bender, started up and ended in. 2-0 to Keelan. A massive spot in this ball game for a Falmouth offense that has been dormant tonight. Been held in check to 13 strikeouts on the mound from Chatham. Sokol the pitch, swinging for the fastball. This one might catch a gap, and it will. It gets down, an RBI knock. Tripping over the bag at second was Snell. He maybe could have made it to third. Nonetheless, and more importantly, he got back. And that RBI knock makes it 2-1 now. And it's a 1-run ball game here at Veterans Field.
And you find yourself with a chance in this spot. A really nice swing by Keelan. Kind of flip it the other way. There's a long run for Schubert, and he couldn't get to it. Really big spot for Humphreys.
Gavin Keelan had a pair of errors a couple nights ago against Orleans. Had been held out of the lineup in 2 consecutive games. Now gets a big spot and comes through. There's now a mound visit being had with White and Sokol. Joining them out there is home plate umpire Darren Tyson trying to break it up. But now in the 9th spot, Nate Humphreys could deliver a base hit here to tie this game.
You've got good arms in the outfield, but with 2 outs, you'd hope that Snell would be able to get a good enough jump to try and score and tie this game. I think at the very least you have to send him on a base hit to the outfield. Unless it's hit right at somebody on a line, you got to send him.
There were a couple moments of that yesterday, Zach, that we had talked about, with only the 1 run and only 5 hits for Falmouth in the 12-1 loss, where in situations where maybe in a closer ball game, you're not sending runners that aggressively. It is a close ball game, but you've only had 4 base runners in this entire game. Is it relatively automatic that you're going to get the wave at third?
I would think so, with the exception of a line drive right at an outfielder. If you have a chance, you got to send the runner there. Cade Snell, assuming that he's able to get around the bag after kind of tripping on that second base bag, if he can get around cleanly and get a good jump, especially if Humphreys can pull this ball out into right center.
First pitch swinging, Humphreys. He comes up empty on 88. Nothing in one. Suddenly a really good inning being worked here by the Commodores. 2 on, 2 out. Already 1 home in this inning because of a Gavin Keelan base hit single. That brought in Colby Shelton. The lift of the leg and the pitch. It's a fastball inside, 1-1.
And the top of the order has had probably the best at-bats before this inning of the game for the Doors, so you really want to get that back to them. See if you can bring them up in this inning, but if not, at least you have them up for the ninth.
Sokol hangs his arm looking for the sign. Now he's set from the stretch. A look to second and the pitch. Swing and a miss. Humphreys coming up empty. It's been all fastballs from Jack Sokol. And now the A's are 1 strike away from getting out of this jam with only giving up a run. Humphreys 2 of 18 so far here on the Cape. Hasn't been the best start, but he could come through big here. The pitch. The 1-2 went up the ladder. Swing and a miss. Big out there by the A's with the lead still intact. The Doors get their first hit of the ball game and their first run in this top of the 8th. But the equalizing run will have to wait, as it's now 2-1 A's going to the bottom of the 8th. We got a tight one now. Stay with us on the Commodores Radio Network. The Commodores not dead yet, putting in that 1 run on 2 hits and a pair of walks to allow him the opportunity here. Needing a big 0 from Bunzani here as he's out there for his second inning of work. Out of the full wind, the first delivery to Casarella misses off the plate. Casarella back in the 5th. A 2-out, 2-run shot to the opposite field. The only bit of offense from Chatham in what's otherwise been a stifled offense as well. The Falmouth pitchers have held them in check. Fastball here sliced foul. 94 from Bunzani. And it's 1-1. Looking for the sign. Staying up there in a nod from Bunzani. Big deep breath. The 1-1. Off the plate at 95. Missing away to the right-handed bat of Xavier Casarella. 2-1. A hitter's count now for the right fielder of Chatham tonight. The 2-1. Off the glove of Highfill, straight back to the screen at 95. It's 3-1. Paul, we've talked about, been very, very good for Falmouth to this point. Hasn't had too much traffic to contend against in his outing so far, but would hate to let the leadoff man reach here. The 3-1 offering, right down Broadway 94, taken for a strike. And he works the count back to full. Bunzani, big deep breath, trying to retire the first man he faces here in the inning, and it's again fouled straight back. A heavy dose of the fastballs, that's all we've seen in this at-bat.
We'll see if he goes to that slider here on 3-2. Wouldn't be surprised to see him try and work that front door on that inside edge of the plate.
3 balls and 2 strikes from Bunzani. Slows him down, nearly got the frame from Highfill, and the breaking ball stays inside. It's a leadoff walk to Chatham.
That's the first walk issued on the summer by Bunzani. He's been so good. But just the one base runner, he's not too worried about it to this point.
He's good at recovering and dealing, as we've mentioned. But now with no one out, a man on for Carson Binge. First pitch, fastball up and in, called strike. Benj was our highlighted player during opening the door earlier today. Some pretty big numbers out of Oklahoma State. Had a base hit with 2 outs to lead off the ball game. He slices one the other way, got sawed off there, foul, 0-2. We were mentioning what the Falmouth Arms have done so far against Chatham, despite trailing 2-1, 11 strikeouts. I believe now 25 combined in this ball game across both sides. No balls, 2 strikes, looking to make it 26 combined from the Arms on the mound, but a quick check to Snell at first base, keeping tabs on Casarella. Holding his bat in front of him is Benj, and now he comes set on the mound is Bonzani. The pitch slowed him down, swing and a miss. There is that other punch out we were talking about. 12 for the Chatham batters going back to the dugout. The Arms have been dealing tonight in this pitcher's duel we've seen here at Veterans Field.
Yeah, every guy that's come to the mound has been really good. Even Cade Woods, who gave up that 2-run homer, he was still really good in his debut, and these guys are dealing tonight.
A swinging strikeout, only a handful of looking strikeouts. And that's the first out of the inning. First pitch here up and in to Lyle Miller Green. He's been kept off the bases to this point, 0-3 to this point. 2 strikeouts for the center fielder for Chatham tonight. His offensive numbers speak for themselves, but nothing to contribute to this 2-1 ball game to this point. The 1-0 off the plate, a fastball, and it's 2-0. We invite you to hang out with us tomorrow. It won't be us, though, doing it. The game will be on Nesson with Harwich and Falmouth. 2 consecutive games on the Nesson Broadcast Network. Zach and I will get to hang out during the ball game, as this one's cut on a miss from Lyle Miller Green, 2-1.
Yeah, you may hear some familiar voices for a little bit of time.
Correct. There will be what we know is a half inning in each ball game, 2 consecutive on Nesson, both at Gov Fuller Field tomorrow, with Harwich and then Hyannis to follow. The 2-1 in the dirt, a tremendous block by Ross Highfield. Had to stand up and backpedal to keep that in front of him. It was a spiked slider at 82. And Bonzani here, they're 2 of the 3 batters he's faced. He's fallen behind a little bit. 3-1. Would be massive to put up a 0 here after the Falmouth bats woke up there in the 8th. Bonzani lifts the leg, the pitch. Fastball outer half, called strike. Miller Green, not a fan of it. He'll step out of the box and regather his thoughts, and the count is full. A relatively heavy shift here by the Doors, infield to the left side. The full count pitch. Line towards the right field corner, slicing. And after a slide in right by Humphreys, he can't get there. It's foul. Was sort of flirting with the right field pole for a little bit out of the box. Miller Green didn't run down at first. He knew that was getting foul. And we'll do the full count once again.
Yeah, as that tail going the opposite way off the right-hander's bat and just couldn't keep it fair.
Lyle Miller Green earns another pitch. Bonzani has to find another one here. Lifts the leg and goes. The runner is going. It's up for a ball, so it doesn't matter because of the walk. And just like that, a first for Chatham with 1 away.
That pitch stayed up, but had it not, that would have been the end of the inning because that was a dart from Ross Highfield thrown down to second.
The throw is certainly in time. And I'm not quite sure if covering at second, Bazana even knew that it was a strike, or check that rather a ball, because he was looking at the umpire saying, I got him in time.
Yeah, he put the tag down, and then he was messing with Casarella a little bit.
Quick check from Ross Highfield to his arm. Paul Bonzani after that walk. A base hit would extend the lead for Chatham, you would think. But up until this outing, no walks from Paul Bonzani. 2 here already. Got to find a way to strand him here if you're the Doors defensively. Chris Maldonado, the second baseman, steps in. First pitch swinging, comes up empty on the fastball. 0-1. 2 swinging strikeouts from Maldonado. many victims to that effect in this ball game with how successful the pitchers have been today. The 0-1. Fouled straight back to the screen. And Paul, after that walk, ahead rather quickly, 0-2.
It's exactly what you want to do. You want to get back ahead in the count and lock yourself back in.
Both these teams in dear need of a victory. In the basement of both divisions are Chatham and Falmouth. Bonzani set on the mound, a look to second, and now he fires. That's a slider in the dirt that got away from Highfill. Everyone will move up 90 feet. The wild pitch extends the base runners to third and second with one away.
The wild pitch is what came back to really hurt Bonzani in his last outing. That moved the runner up to third. The infield single scored the game-tying run for YD in that tie back last Sunday. Now infield going to have to come in here for the Doors.
As you mentioned, partner, everyone in on the grass right now. The obvious play at the plate on the 1-2 pitch. Check of the swing, did not go. Did Maldonado. And it's 2-2. Nolan Schubert on deck. The big, powerful, slugging bat awaits with the 2-2 offering. In the dirt away from Highfill on a wild pitch. And coming in to score is Casarella, and that's that big insurance run. It's 3-1 now for Chatham.
And Highfill frustrated with Bonzani, yelling as he runs back to go get that baseball. I don't know if they got crossed up or it just wasn't the right location, but those two were not on the same page at all.
Regardless, the ladder certainly was in effect, not in the location you want there. As Highfill was not able to keep in front of him, a very, very tough pitch. The full count offering. In the dirt again, a great block there at 94 away. Bonzani a little shaky here, and it's the third walk of the inning. So Maldonado moves to first. Lyle Miller-Green at third. They're on the corners. The corner infielders are in, with the middle infield of Keelan and Bazana pinching. Mike Landry's going to have a conversation with Paul Bonzani. There is no activity in the Commodores bullpen, so you'd think for now it is Paul Bonzani's inning here. But if the carousel continues, that could change. 3-4-2 reads the line of the Anglers. 1-2-0 for the Commodores. A 2-run shot in the fifth. Made it 2-0 for Chatham. Falmouth had to wait till the seventh inning to get its first base runner of the ball game. 20 batters to be specific, as that perfect bid was going up until the seventh. And the Doors on an infield hit down the third base line by Colby Shelton broke up the no-hit offering. Ended up scoring their first run in that eighth inning, and that's where we stand right now after that wild pitch brought in the run. Bonzani back to work. Fastball swung on and missed from Schubert. Makes it 0-1.
It's a big bat here in Schubert. If you can get a ground ball, you can try and get out of this inning, but really just have to focus on getting it out here.
With Snell holding here, there's a pretty big hole at second base to the left-handed pull side, and that's exactly where it goes for a base hit. Bazana couldn't get there, and it's a 2-run inning here in the bottom of the eighth for the Anglers. It's 4-1 Chatham.
Now, what really hurts about that is that's the first ball that's been put in play this inning by the Anglers, and that's already the second run of this frame.
It will take at least 3 for the Commodores in the top of the ninth. A pinch hitter being used here, and Schattenberger will come in to pinch run for the base hit there from Schubert. So 2 on with only 1 away. A tough break here after Falmouth had a rally of its own there in the eighth. Only 1 run came across, but given the offensive production prior to that eighth inning, that certainly was a lot. At that point was a 2-1 ball game. Different conversation now in this eighth inning that has changed this ball game. Slider inside on the front door, coming back for a strike from Bonzani, with Hudson White stepping in. Bonzani comes set on the rubber. A look to second to Maldonado, and now he fires one. This one the other way. That's a base hit through the second base hole. Waving and coming home is Maldonado. A close play at the plate. The throw's in time. So is the tag from Highfill. Out at the plate is Maldonado.
There's a reason that Nate Humphreys is up for a gold glove in the outfield. He is spectacular defensively and just threw a frozen rope to the plate.
Schattenberger stays put at second. Hudson White rewarded with the base hit. He's now at first. But more importantly, the deficit remains 3.
Yeah, big time throw and a chance to limit the damage here if you can get an out.
Nate Humphreys with a cannon out there and right. And now you have 2 outs. The defense back to normal depth. Backing up to his left is Bazana right now. First pitch swinging in the box. It's sent straight back by Sam Antonacci. Manzani steps his right foot back on the rubber, looking for the sign from Highfill. With a new revamped bit of energy after that big throw and put out from Humphreys. The 0-1. Off the plate, slowed it down at 82, 1-1.
Wind picking up here out towards right center. If Antonacci can get one up in the jet stream, he's going to have some success.
Not a lot of balls put in play in this ball game up until this 8th inning, specifically for both sides. The 1-1. Fastball up and away, left there by Antonacci, and it's 2-1.
This is the first time we've seen Paul Bonzani struggle this summer. He's been dominant in his first 3 appearances, but going to have this and now going to have to bounce back in his next one, but got to get through the rest of this inning here.
Lifts the leg, does Bonzani. Cut on and missed in the box from Antonacci. And it's 1-2. Check that 2-2. There are 2 on, 2 out, in a 2-2 count. Falmouth trying to keep the damage where it is right now by the Anglers. And move on to the 9th inning here. Bonzani nods, a look to second where Schattenberger, the pinch runner, stands. Lifted the leg in the pitch. Fouled off the glove of Highfill. And battling again in the box, will do the 2-2 once more. A big spot here in this ball game. It's still a relatively close game at 4-1. But you can't afford any more insurance being tacked on here by the A's if you're the Commodores. Bonzani set. Lift of the leg and the pitch. Lined on a hop to Keelan. He picks it out of the ground. They're going to say he caught it on a fly. Still think he would have made the throw, but nonetheless, a needed 3rd out, but not before the A's respond with 2 runs of their own. A couple of free passes by Bonzani. Cashed in on a couple of base hits. It's 4-1. We'll be right back with the last ups for Falmouth, trailing 3 here on the Commodores Radio Network. The new arm in this save situation. It's the lefty out of West Virginia, Max Yell.
Max Yell, 17 appearances for the Mountaineers. 1-0 record, 3.54 ERA. And now looking to get the save here for the Anglers in what's been a really good game for Chatham, trying to bounce back. And the Doors going to need quite a bit here in the top of the ninth.
Well, it's a good part of the lineup to have up. 1, 2, 3 for Falmouth. It'll be Joe Redfield leading it off. Like many Commodores tonight, hitless. Only 2 hits for the Doors. They all came in the 8th inning to break up that bid that the A's had entering the 8th inning. But now it's Max Yell with an opportunity to shut the door on Falmouth here at Veterans Field on the road. It's a 4-1 lead. If you're just tuning in, Matt Venezia, Zach Serdenik, and Destiny Sanchez have had it for you here on the road. Yell comes set. The first offering, fastball upstairs at 92, left up there by Redfield. Trying to start it. It can't be him to do it, though. The tying run's in the hole. That's Travis Bazzana.
Yeah, going to need base runners, Matt.
Will need them. And they've been scarce for Falmouth today. Slider. Check that, actually. That's 92 on the fastball in their inner half. Strike 1 called. Waiting for the sign is Max Yell. Comes set. Lifts the leg. This one's chopped back towards the dugout of Falmouth from Redfield. Foul ball. And it is 1-2.
Yeah, lefty coming in to face 2 lefties and a switch hitter at the top of the order for Falmouth. And from that arm slot, really tough to hit as a left-handed hitter.
He kind of steps off the mound towards the first base line with his delivery. The pitch. Slow hook, cut on and missed at 84. The first out of the inning. And that is now the 15th strikeout victim for the Commodores here tonight. It's been a tough offensive outburst from Falmouth today, and really over the last stretch of time. 4 hits yesterday in the loss. And now tonight, only 2. Beg your pardon, it was 5 hits yesterday in that 12-1 loss. On the ground sharply, and Tanachi long throw, despite the speed of Spikerman. He's out, and 1 more out remaining for Falmouth here at Chatham.
At the end of the day, sometimes you just have to tip your cap, and that's what the Doors are going to have to do if they can't pull one out here. The pitching for Chatham's just been lights out.
Certainly by the time this thing's all said and done, one of the better pitching performances Cape League wide from Chatham. But even for Falmouth, with all the strikeouts the Doors have had today, but just not a lot of offense to support. 12 Ks from Falmouth, as this one started with a strike at 76 to Travis Bazzana. A lot of punch-outs all across for everyone. 27 men sent down on strikes today. The 0-1. Check swing, did he go? No, he did not. A look down to third. That's Jeff Merzell. We've had him several times here, Zach, for some of these Falmouth games.
Yeah, he's been all around. Home, first, third, he's done it all.
The pitch on the way. Fastball upstairs, part of the zone. Called strike 2. And the Falmouth Commodores are down to their final strike tonight. On the road with Yell looking for the save. A long look in as the crowd begins to rumble a little bit. The 1-2. Swing and a miss. Gave him the slider. And that is another strikeout victim for Falmouth today. The 16th Commodore set down on Ks to end the ball game. Chatham wins it 4-1 in what was a fantastic pitcher's duel for the majority of this ball game. But it's the team in the East Division that finds a way with the win here in this interleague matchup.
And the Doors just never able to get anything going, and Chatham had it going from the jump on the mound. A lot of punch-outs and a tough way to end this road trip for Falmouth, but the Gov awaits for tomorrow.
That's correct. Commodores will certainly need to figure something out in the box. 2 stranded base runners today, all in the 8th inning. Other than that, a very, very quick set of work by Chatham in their defensive halves of the inning. And this ball game comes to its conclusion a little over 2 hours here on the road in Chatham. The win improves the A's to 4-7-1, creeping up there with Brewster in the East Division, still trying to climb out of that hole. And Falmouth falls to 3-8-2. And with its other siblings in the West Division finding a couple of wins today, the separation continues with Chatham finding a way here as a basement team to win, and Falmouth still looking for a way to get back to its consistent winning ways.
Yeah, just tough start to the year for the Doors, but a lot of time left. And we keep saying that, and the time gets smaller, but there's still plenty of it left at this point for the Doors to try and get things on the right track.
We want to thank you for joining us in this stint of away games. It was 3 consecutive for the Commodores. 2 straight await us at the Gov starting tomorrow. You can catch it on the Nesson Network, though, not on our YouTube page. It will not be Zach and I having it for you, although we'll join you for a half inning at some point during the ballgame over the next 2. Harwich first, and then a day with Hyannis at the Gov before we have an off day, as this was game 7 in 7 days. Still 2 more to go in a row, unless the rain and Mother Nature have something to do with it. An expected off day for us and the Bats of Falmouth. But we want to thank you for joining us here at Veterans Field. For the entire crew on social media and behind the scenes making it happen throughout this ball game, plenty of hands making that happen. For Destiny Sanchez joining us for reports, for Zach Serdenik, my play-by-play broadcasting partner tonight, I've been Matt Venezia saying so long from Chatham. It's a 4-1 victory for the A's, and we will see you tomorrow on Nesson with the Commodores and the Mariners from Gov Fuller Field.